Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about an interesting topic. What is inner child? Do you have any trauma from your childhood? Do you know how to heal it? So before we get to that, I created this channel to talk about my knowledge related to family constellations. And this channel is for you who is seeking, who is looking for self-awareness, self-knowledge, and understanding a little bit more about family constellations and how this powerful tool can help you awaken your consciousness by understanding and solving your problems. So my name is Daniela Storti and I'm a family constellations facilitator. Let's start. So what is inner child? Inner child is part of our minds that store every emotional experiences that we had in our childhood. We feel everything since the year zero. What is year zero? Year zero is the moment of our conceptions. So if our mother during the pregnancy, she felt that if the pregnancy was expected and was desired, we felt expected and desired as well. But if the pregnancy was a surprise and it came with a lot of insecurities, a lot of questions, we felt that as well. So from that moment, even when we were just a little cells there, and we didn't have any organs formed yet, we felt everything. The child feels everything that the mother is feeling. From 0 to 3 months, when the mother is still deciding if she's keeping the baby or not, if she's getting married or not, what she's going to do, we felt everything. So which means that we feel since the year zero every positive or negative charges that we received from our mothers. So if you in this moment are still pregnant and if you experienced any of these negative thoughts in the beginning, you can still overcome this. We can talk with your baby still in your belly. You can explain the situation. You can tell how you feel, and you can tell him that everything is going to be all right. Like in my case, I have a child, and of course my pregnancy was desired and was planned, but since then I always explain everything to my son. Even then, when I think that he doesn't have any maturity to understand, I always explain to him, because more than you talk, more than you think, our child feels everything, even when he doesn't know how to explain this. But they know if the environment is healthy, the energy is good or not. We feel that. Everyone feels that. So from the year 5 and from the year 0 to 7, everything is registered in our cerebral amygdala, which we call that the brain of emotions, our brain of emotions. And when we were in this age, we experience everything in a self-assigned meaning, which means that we don't see the experience we see the experience in a different way. For example, when I was a child, I don't remember well my age, but around 7 years old, probably, I woke up. I used to sleep in and woke up very late, like midday, 1 p.m. And when I woke up that day, I was alone at home. My mother was not there, and I felt abandoned and alone. And that feeling scared me a lot. My mother went to the bakery close to our house with my sister, and she didn't abandon me, but I felt that way, and I felt scary. So this was a trauma that I experienced in that time that I didn't have conscience later on. So when we talk about inner child, everyone has an inner child. Think like we are two instead of one. We have our adults part and we have our child part, as like we are all the time together. So if you are 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s, or even 90s, you have your inner child with you who experienced all these who had all these emotional experiences from the 0 to 7 years old. So how to hear our inner child? Every time that you have an uncomfortable feeling, you want to cry, you see in situations that you don't like or you are upset, and sometimes you don't know how to deal with the first moment. These are manifestations from your inner child. It is your inner child trying to communicate with you. So looks like, think about a child with 3 years old, and this child is crying, right? You need to stop what you are doing and you need to talk to her and see why she's crying. What are the basic needs that she needs at that moment? Your inner child is doing the same with you. So you need to listen her. If you don't listen your inner child, there will be a second moment when she's going to cry louder. If you still don't hear your inner child, there will be a third moment, a worst one, that she's going to throw tantrums until you stop everything to listen her, to listen your inner child. So, and then you need to stop. You need to listen. You need to talk to her or him. And you need to calm down her and tell her that everything is going to be all right. You are going to take care of the situations. And as an adult, you can take the responsibility to solve the situation. Because child don't have mature feelings. They cannot take decisions. They don't know how to deal with criticism. They cannot support criticism. They do not know how to deal with difficult situations in your job, for example, or in your relationship, or whatever the situations you are facing right now. They cannot do that. Child do not get married. Child do not have a sexual relationship. It is your adult part who needs to take care of this. But before, you need to listen what your inner child is trying to say to you, is trying to tell you, is trying to show you. And I can tell you more, if you still don't listen your inner child, it is probable that she is going to get sick until you literally stop everything, including your work and everything that you are busy right now. Until then, you need to stop everything to listen her. This is how a child gets attention, right? It is the same with our inner childs. So now, how to overcome a childhood emotional trauma. So every issues, every difficult relationships, every disease that we develop right now, everything is related to the patterns we got from our parents or our caregivers in our childhood, or related to any bad experiences that we lived in our childhood. So sometimes we don't remember what happened to us, because sometimes it is better to forget, right? But how do we know that we have a trauma in our childhood? Because this trauma keeps repeating in our lives until we look at this. For example, when I was 18 or 19 years old, I had a relationship, and one day we were dating, and for some reason, I really don't remember the reason, but for some reason, we got in a fight and we were discussing, and I literally remember him taking the car and leaving me there crying, sitting on the sidewalk. I spent a few minutes alone. He came back a few minutes later, but at that time, I felt abandoned again. I felt that I was alone in the world again. And I did not have conscious about it until even my childhood memory, I did not know until I started looking for self-awareness, trying to understand myself, my feelings. When I started my family constellations journey, I started to understand my past, my feelings, the relationships that I had, the relationships that I have right now. And I got to the point that I understood that feeling, and how every time I felt abandoned or I felt alone in the world, I was coming back to that memory that I had when I was a child, in my childhood. And that inner child was hurt inside me, right? So that wound was repeating, and is going to repeat until you have conscious about it. So how we overcome a childhood emotional trauma? Unfortunately, there is no easy way. We need to come back to that moment. We need to look at that thing in a different way, with a different point of view. As I mentioned, I was not abandoned from my mother. She just went to the bakery, but I felt that way. It was the way that I looked at that situation. And I felt again with my discussion in my relationship. He literally left me, but he came back a few minutes later, but I felt abandoned again. I felt alone again. So I had to come back to that situations, to that feelings, and look that things in a different way. Of course, it was hard, and it's not easy to come back to a bad memory, or a difficult situations. And sometimes I did not have conscious about it until I started knowing about myself, learning about myself. It was scary, but I did it. And when you understand your feelings and the trigger that activate that feelings, you can now, as an adult, talk to your inner child, listen your inner child, and tell her that now you can take care of her. You can listen her, And you as an adult, and like I told you, think about us as two and not only one. Our adults talking to our child. We listen you. I listen you. I see you. I feel you. I love you. And you are beautiful. And you are not alone in this world because you have yourself. You can take care of you. So then, when I understood that I was not alone in this world, and I, myself, as an adult, I could take care of myself and my child, my inner child, I've never felt abandoned again. I've never felt alone again. And this totally changed my feelings. And I've never lived in a situation like that anymore. Or if came to me in another situation, because I was taking care of myself, I am taking care of myself, I know that I'm not abandoned, I'm not alone anymore. And this is something that you can do in a daily basis. You can practice this in a daily basis. You can tell your inner child whatever she wants to hear. She wants to hear when she was at that age. I hear you. I feel you. I love you. And we call these healing phrases in family constellations. And we use these phrases to heal or to start the healing inside us when we are doing a family constellation sessions. And this is really powerful. And it is difficult to come back to that trauma or to that situations, but it can be really incredible rewarding when we do that. We don't want to be, of course, nobody wants to be hurt anymore. Nobody wants to feel hurt anymore. But to do that, we need to heal what happened to us and change our point of view. So this is how we heal ourselves, we heal our inner child. After that, we can choose a different path, a different way to see things. I hope this could be helpful. Thank you for watching me and see you soon.